Hi, it's Kerry here from Mobilates, and I'm here with Virtual Village Hall. We've got 30 minutes together. It always really flies by. So you can see I'm just close my comments or page on at the side. See who's already here. Oh, it must have page. Hi to anybody else who's here, catching up on the live or catching on the live or catching up on the recorded session. Let's get started. You can be standing or sitting. You could be on the edge of a bed too, because we're going to go to a lying down position about halfway through. And that could be lying down on your floor, definitely on a mat. I like a mat, on a rug, or on a bed. Just pull the duvet cover back. We're going to go pretty gently. Let's get moving. Oh, hello. We've got Jean as well. Hi, Jean. Nice to have you here. Place your hands in prayer then. We're going to push up and then come in. Pushing up, breathing in. Coming round again, breathing out. Up, breathing in. Is that another hello? Barbara, hello. Nice to have you here. Down, breathing in. And you can see I'm doing a little sort of tiny little back bend. If I show you from the side, you can see as I go up. Just lift my chest up. And then it comes facing forwards again. If you're doing the seated, just watch out for knocking things up at the side. I know if I was sat on that chair, I'm always knocking my arms on the table when I sit on that side. And if you can breathe into your belly as you breathe. And then breathing out through your nose or your mouth. And we'll go for a couple more. Last one. And then just stay for a moment in this prayer position. And this time, we're going to have a little lean to the side. And then back to the centre. And lean to the other side. And back to the centre. I'm just creeping forwards. Oh, I'm just saying hello to Barb. Going to this side. Just a little side bends. Now, I've done quite big movements, but if you've got stiffness or frozen shoulder, anything difficult in that area, make it smaller. You could also make it one-handed. See, just making it work for you. Never have to look completely the same as we do this. It's just the general intention of the movement and the exercise. My hips, by the way, not going anywhere. They're staying where they are, bending from the waist. And if you have osteoporosis, just taking this gently. You don't want to lean over, like way too far like that. You just don't want lots of weight going in. So just keeping it gentle. And you can always keep your hands in front and go from side to side like that. And then coming back to the front, let the arms have a little forwards and backwards flop. And then we're going into our pelvic tilts, just warming up the lumbar spine. So the lumbar spine is a bit below our ribs. So what you can do is hold onto your ribs high up, whether you're on the chair or standing up. And then we're just trying to isolate this. I always need to bend my knees to do this. Just into this lower bit of spine. And I can feel a tiny bit of movement, especially against these fingers at the back. And I'm trying to minimize that because I don't want the movement there. I want the movement here. And if I keep my hands here, my aim is to keep that bit still and just get that little bit of movement at the bottom. And then you're really truly getting into your lumbar spine. And it's an area that can get really stiff. You might have tiny movement there. That's okay. Room for more movement in the future, maybe. And we're breathing as we do this. So as you see, I'm lengthening this way. That's the breathing out stage. As it goes back a little, I feel more belly coming forwards. That's the breathing in stage. Two more of these. And then let those arms come down by the side again. We're going to give our head a little tap at the back. Oh, it's one of my favourite moves to do because it just gives you that little bit of sensation at the back of your head. And then just take that buzzy tingle, only there for a few seconds, back slightly. And as you do it, just feel a little fullness underneath here. I can feel my extra special secret chins appearing. So once you've got that, we're going to go for some head turns. That's it. And as you're doing this, we're just trying to still, you can feel open across here if that sort of helps. I find just having my shoulders just traveling slightly back makes me feel a little bit more open and less sort of hunched up. But just trying not to have any movement here, it's just the neck moving. And then come back to the center. Remember that little buzzy feeling. Holding back, I'm going to place my hand to the side. And this time, there's no movement to see, but I can feel the force. So it's like I'm trying to do that. My hand is trying to push my head the other way. So take a breath in, breathing out, trying to push against it, feeling maybe a little tightening along this side of your neck, because that's the area which is strengthening gently. And then relax, and then pressing gently, and relax. And we'll just have a little wiggle in between. Go to the other side. So at the moment, everything's got lots of movement. I'm going to take the breath in. And then I'm pushing my hand this way and my head this way. So now everything feels tighter, engaged. I'm trying not to press too hard because that would be uncomfortable for my neck. So just a little tightness, and then release. Gonna go again, breath in. Let that go. So it's just a gentle strengthening exercise for the neck. Now let's give the neck a bit of a freer movement. So we're going to go for a neck roll. I'm going to take my chin, just pulling back slightly, chin just over this dip in the collarbone. I'm going to roll one way and roll the other. This is my preference. I don't like rolling right round. It's just not my sort of comfortable place. But if you do like it, go with it. This one always feels sort of relaxing to me, going from one side and then through to the other. But some people like to go in one way several times like that. Makes me dizzy. And do that a few times and then go the other way. But like I said, go for the one that suits you. And then coming back to the center, looking ahead, and then starting shoulder rolls. So I'm going to go one and then the other. And so if you've got different things going on in your shoulders, like a lot of stiffness on one side, for example, it's really good to do different sides like this, and then you can treat them in different ways, maybe do a few on one side and then some together. If your shoulders are okay, go for some together. Breathing in as your shoulders come forwards and up, and then you just get that little pause as they go around the back, and that's when you breathe out. Think of it almost like the sea coming in and then going out again. It's got that sort of rhythmic sensation. And don't forget to do some the other way around, either doubles or singles, back and then forwards. All done. Right, let's go for a little bit of rotation. So if you're seated, I'd like you to slide your hands up and down your legs, maybe coming into the front third of your chair. And your legs comfortable distance apart, feet facing forwards. And then if you're standing, we'll start to take our feet slightly further apart and just starting to twist gently at the waist, letting our arms follow. Now, my picture seems to go in and out, but I'm hoping it's okay for all of you. Last time this happened, I noticed it happened for me, and when I looked on the record, it didn't affect the picture on this live Facebook page. So hopefully that's the same. And then making it bigger. Maybe your arms are reaching right out like this. If you're seated, start to swish your arms around you. The important thing is on this that your hips, if you're standing, and your feet move with you. If you're seated, take your legs a little wider. This is where I start to knock everything off. It's just the drawers. Just keeping it soft and flowy, and then making our way back to being still. Letting everything slowly come to stillness. And then we're going to come to our feet. If I just go back a little bit so you can see my feet. Just rolling around the whole sole of my foot. Just trying to get a sensation around all the edges, across the ball of my foot. Rolling it backwards and forwards a little. And then the same on the other foot. So if you have peripheral neuropathy, so you just find it really difficult to feel things through your feet, sometimes an exercise like this can bring a bit more sensation. You might need a prickly ball, something like that. It may be you find it really, really difficult to get sensation through your feet. So anything that helps. And even if you've got cold feet, it can be really difficult to feel things. So just getting this extra sensation through, because I'm going to take you into balances. And it's really hard to balance when you can't feel your feet very well. So we've got both feet. We've given them a little bit of warm up. I think the ankles have had a little bit of warm up too. So let's start just raising our heels up and down. And as we do this, we're trying not to sway so much. So now we've got a slightly narrower stance. Feet are both pointing forwards. I'm trying to grow tall as I do this. And seated. Looks the same. You can start to take your hands here or here for seated. Even up here, that's a little harder. And if we're standing, I think we could start taking our arms out to the side, down. And I think we'll mix it up now with the feet. So let's go for some doubles. Whoa, and down, and double, and down, and then bringing the legs closer. And you could be using some support here. And then taking it down. And now more balance. So we're going to choose a supporting leg. And a leg that's going to move. Keep the supporting leg still. If you're standing, your aim is to put a hand to where you'd like your leg to go, and then take it down. So you can see my hand there and my leg's coming to reach it. If you're seated, we're going to go into a heel raise to meet the hand. So trying to work out where the hand's going to go. There, okay, I'm trying to go right to the very tip of my toe. Might be you go to the ball of your foot and you bend your toes so your hand's lower. Oh, got to get back into the standing. Last one. And then give that leg a little shake out, maybe a wiggle of the hips. Got to go for the other side. So taking the weight in the supporting leg, getting this hand and trying to work out where it's going to come to. Trying to keep even here rather than sag over to one side or lean heavily to one side. Just keeping upright feeling. And as I do this, I'm very lightly just touching the floor. It's just like you're trying to, oh yeah, the floor is still there. Yep, still there. And just going between my hand and the floor. That's it. Great balance work. Oh, just starting to feel the achy bits. And then let the legs have a little shake out. You might want to let them go out and in if you're seated. And let's do something for the arms. So let's take the arms forwards, out to the side in this T shape. And when you get to about here, now we start to pull the elbows back. And as you're pulling the elbows back, it's like the shoulder blades are trying to grab your jumper at the back. And then your hands can reach forwards. The jumper is free, ungrabbed. Hands out to a T shape, palms are down. And then start to pull the elbows back. Feeling like your shoulder blades are trying to grab your jumper. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. You might imagine yourself swimming to a horizon in a beautiful sea. Take me there now. Oh, amazing. One more. And then we're going to take our arms forwards and send our bottom back. And then we'll send our hips forwards and our arms back. Now, if you're seated, I'd like you to place your hands here and tip yourself forwards and then come to upright. Tipping yourself forward, straight back, come to upright. Going to go again. So just getting the arms back. Now we're going to take it more into a squat. So lowering down and then bringing your hands to your chest. Lower down in your squat, hands to your chest. If that's too much, send the bottom back and keep it much gentler in the knees. But the bottom goes back a bit like you're trying to shut a drawer somewhere over there where those drawers are with your bottom. And we'll make this the last one. As usual, time is whizzing by, but just savor every second. Oh, I've just fitted an extra one in. And then let's do a little bit for our hips. So similar to before, we're going to sort of open and close, a bit like we did up and down with a tap. This time we're going to go out to the side. So it could be that you take your leg out to the side to meet your hand here. It could be that you lift your leg and you take it out this way. You might need to hold something on this side. If you're seated, it might be that you are lightly taking the ball of your foot across the floor. Just leave your hand where you can have a sort of touchstone for the outside of your knee. And it could be your foot stays on the floor. That's it. Just going to keep this leg still if I can. Last one on this side. And then let that leg have a flop. And then we'll go for the other side. So lifting up if you can. Or can just about reach that hand. Now I'm trying not to twist anything here. You could, if you've got a free hand, keep one hand on the hip to keep your hips in place. And the other hand, woo, just reaching for that knee. That's quite a challenging balance. I'm also, you might have noticed, just a little shift here across the top. I'm trying to keep my hips fairly level, so I'm not sort of like that. Oh, and let's go for a couple more. And then take it down and give everything a good wiggle. Let's take it to a roll down. One or two roll downs. You might want to do a traditional sort of roll down when you sort of softly folding over and bringing your chin down your body, like your head is going to roll all the way down. Trying to keep your legs so that it doesn't feel like you're tipping back like that, but they can definitely have a bend in them. And you might hold here and let your arms have a dangle. You might be able to go lower. It depends. The aim is not really to, touch the floor, touch your toes. It's more to get mobility in your spine so you can stack back up again. Now, if you've got osteoporosis or osteopenia, that can be a bit heavy for the spine. Sort of a heavy weight with a bent spine is not usually recommended. So instead, work on sending your bum back like we did before, straight back, hands on the thighs. And instead of the head bowing down, it's almost like the bottom bows down and that ripple spreads up and you start to push up through your legs. So you're still getting that ripple going through your spine, but you're not getting the weight whilst your spine is bent over. So it's more supported. Last one. And now make your way down to the floor. We're going to start off lying on our back and just adjusting the camera, moving the chair, getting everything in place. Good time to take a little drink. And take plenty of time to get yourself onto your floor, your bed. This is the joy of doing it in our own homes. You're not on a really hard floor. You've got things to support you. So whatever you use to help yourself get down. And we're going to start off lying on our backs. You can have the cushion for your head. And just spend a moment or two just settling in. A bit like, you know, when a cat jumps on the duvet and starts to usually look for, you know, any clothes that they can leave hairs all over, anything that's like dark or a favourite jumper or something. And they just start nesting in to that jumper. Well, we're just nesting into our mat, the floor, your bed, whatever you're lying down on. Now check that your head is comfortable and that your eyes are straight up towards the ceiling, not looking behind you. If it feels like your head's sort of tipping back like that, you need something underneath it, maybe a folded towel just underneath it. I have quite a small, quite flat cushion for my head. Otherwise, it might feel like almost my head's tipped up and I'm looking sort of between my legs and over to that window. Right, in this position, we'll just do a little pelvic tilt or two, I think. Hands can be on your belly area or on the floor. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out and you feel your belly tighten here, starting to lower your back waistband downwards. It's like a dropping sensation. And then let everything relax. And that pops up. Breath in. Breath out. The pubic bone is rocking towards your nose. You can feel a sort of rocking movement from the back and your bottom. And then rocks forward. Last one. And then place your arms down by your sides. So you can have palms up, palms down, might even be on the sort of edge of your hands, like a sort of chopping action. I think I'm going to go palms down. And the arms don't need to be completely at your sides, can be out a little bit. Let's check in with the legs and feet. So let's take them together, press them together, take the heels out and the toes forwards. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out and feel a bit of tension here, keep that tension and float the leg up to tabletop. We're going to place a hand against it. Just like we did standing up, take the toe down and bring the knee back, down and back. Breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in. Now, if the other leg is going wibble wobble, I can feel mine is, just place the other hand just to the side of it. And it just tells that leg, okay, that's where I am. Just gives it a bit of information. You could just have a few fingers on it. And we'll do one or two more here. I feel this leg has almost had enough. So now, just like we did with the words, hand against our face, now we're going to resist. So I'm going to push my hand that way. And my leg is coming back this way. Breath in. Let's do it with that breath out. And then take that leg down, stretch it out, and give the foot a wiggle. Ankles can circle, wave. Just let the foot sort of have some free movement. That's it. Slide that leg back. Same on the other side. Breath in. Breath out. Take the leg up to tabletop. You're like floating it up to this 90-degree shape. A hand is there just to meet it. A bit like a little door stopper. It's just something that the leg's going to meet against. So tapping down, coming up. Now, if you see the shape of my leg, I'm not doing that. I'm not letting the sort of foot drop down. I'm keeping the shape, taking it forwards. It's going from the hip. That little tap down and up. Breath out. Breath out. 2. 2 or 3 more. Now this leg is much more still for me, but if yours is wobbling, just placing a hand or even just a finger at the side, just to keep it in place and stable. Keeping something stable can be harder than doing the other leg. Let's hold this one here. Now we're going to push this way and try and pull the leg back this way. Take a breath in. Breathing out, resist. And then let that leg go down. Stretch out, wiggle the ankle. Wave the foot. And then let's take the leg back. Let's do something for the arms. Let's bring them up. Bring the hands together. And then take your arms and open them out. Just gradually letting them go out, out, out until they go down towards the floor. And then they're coming up till the hands or the fingers touch. Notice I'm not lifting anything off the floor here. I'm letting everything really spread out. So you try and take up as much space with your shoulders and your arms as you can as you open out. Take a breath in whilst you're really open. And then breathing out, starting to bring the arms back. One more. Opening up, breathing in. And closing, breathing out. Well done. Right, let's take those arms down. Now let's take them out to the side. Let's have a little sway before we go anywhere. Bring the legs together. And we're going to let our knees and our feet stick together. So now you can see the soles of my feet. They'll just roll to one side. Now that might be as far as you go. It might be you can go a little further. If you've got osteoporosis, I don't push it, just a gentle twist here. Otherwise, you might take it a little further and let things lower. Got to keep those knees and feet together though. Breath in. And breathing out, come back to the center. Another breath in. Breath out, keep the feet together. Feel you rolling onto the side of one foot, the other foot stacked on top. Now that might be the place you stay. The shoulders, by the way, are on the floor. It might be you go a little further, but remember osteoporosis and osteopenia, just bring it back so you're not going so far, just to not wrink out or put too much tension. And then if you're comfortable going lower, that's as low as I'm going today. Breath in and bring it back. And then we're going to roll onto our side. And taking the legs long, stretching them out. I like a cushion underneath my head. You might just have your hand like that or like that. You might even have an arm like that, especially if that shoulder's uncomfortable. You could put your arm here as well. This part is not going to be moving, it's the legs. So keeping the legs together, lengthening the feet, and trying to have really long legs. I'm going to place a hand for a moment on my hips, trying not to roll over. Just push that top hip down a little bit. Really feel the stretch. Right, now we're going to do a little lift. First is the top leg. Breath in. Lifting the top leg. And then taking it down. Lifting the top leg. Taking it down. Lifting the top leg one more time. And now seeing how close the bottom leg can come up towards it. Now I can't quite get mine to touch whilst my leg is that high. So they're going to hover a little bit distance apart. You might be lower and the legs are touching, or they might be further apart. So just holding it there, reaching the legs away and then taking it down, bending your legs forwards. So it's almost like we're sat on an imaginary chair. Now I'm going to change my hands so it looks like I'm cradling my head. The elbows though are not flopped over, it's not tight. They're just holding the back of my head and they're parallel to each other. So my head's in between. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, open the top elbow towards the ceiling. Now let the head roll back And your hands, your top arm and your head roll back, and let the legs start to open. And then start to take that back, so the legs start to close, the elbow and the head roll, and then we go back to the beginning. Breath in, breathing out, elbow to the top, letting the head roll into your hands. Feel like you're opening out there. Legs start to part. Just holding that there. And then coming all the way back. We're going to swap over to the other side. We're going to stretch ourselves out long first. So it might be you're just going to roll away from me now. I'm going to swap round the other way so you can see it in the other direction. First, getting your head comfortable this side. Legs are long, feet are right on top of each other, and you're lengthening your feet away. We're trying not to scrunch the toes, so just think long toes rather than pointy toes. I'm just going to take my hand to this top hip, try not to go over, and just pushing that hip down a little bit. Oh, I can feel the stretch there, and I can feel the big difference here in my feet. So it tends to go from this, where my toes are not quite in line, to that. Really feel the stretch. Right, now I'm going to take a breath in. See, this hand's just stopping me rolling over. As I breathe out, that top leg's coming up as high as it will go. Oh, that's as high as I can take it. And then bringing it down nice and slow. Breath in, breathing out. Taking it down, breathing in. Breathing out, lifting it up as high as it will go. And then coming down. This next one is the last one like this. Breath in, bringing the leg up. And now we're inviting the other leg to come and join it. Oh, it doesn't know if it wants to come to this party. Bringing it up as high as it will go and reaching your legs long at the same time. If they're not going very high, don't worry. Just think about having them lower and just reaching them long. Either way, it is good. Holding it there and then letting it come down. Bend those legs. Oh, they'll be relieved to be bent. Sitting on a chair, these sort of L-shaped legs now on this imaginary chair. Changing the hand position. So we're now cradling our head. So your fingers are at the back of your head. Elbows are either side, but not squashed together. It's got this gap. Taking a breath in. Breathing out, opening the elbow towards the ceiling, letting the head roll back, letting the legs open up. You see my feet are staying together, but the knees are opening up, and seeing how far you can roll back. And then coming forwards. Taking a breath in. As you breathe out, bringing the elbow up towards the ceiling, letting the head roll back, letting the knees part. Oh, and opening up as far as you can. We're going to hold it there. Just breathing in and out. And then closing it up. Placing your hands down by your sides, pushing yourself up. Coming to a seated position. Any comfortable seated position is good. Let's take our hands forwards, it's like hugging a tree. So you could stack your hands or you could place them like that, pushing them forwards, making a sort of round shape here. And as you do that, feels like someone's got their hands around your high waist and they're just pulling you back in the opposite direction. So forwards with your hands, back with your high waist, and then come upwards. We'll go again. Breath in, pushing the hands forwards, pulling back, feeling like your waistband is going back towards the wall against you at the back, and then coming upright. Last one, breath in, pushing away, coming up, taking your arms out to the sides. Time's gone already. Scoop up the air. Bring your hands in front, above, somewhere where you can see them, and then bring them to your chest. Give yourselves a clap. Amazing. I shall see you again next week. Have a wonderful week. Always a pleasure. Bye-bye.